all these perversions, you know.
Good morning, thriving warriors. Oops, had that a little bit too soon. Matt was just in here. We were chatting a little bit as Matt is having his Roman snack of bread soaked in vinegar. I'm sure Charlene would say it's healthy, but here we are, a little bit early, 5:55 on a Tuesday, May 16th morning. It's a cloud-filled sky. It is 67 degrees. The low is in the 60s, high 93, 60 to 93 temperature swing today. So cool. 63 to 90. All right. Well, we'll get more into that later, but here we are at Department of Career Services, where our goal is to help you get from point A to point B on your journey. Goodbye, people. Charlene is on the road to City Impact. Good morning, Todd. Good morning, Diana. So I'm going to be on the road before 6:30 as well, heading north, then heading south to Vegas. We have some people moving from here down to the apartments. More on that a little bit later. But so what do? We help you get on the journey from point A to point B through a series, about 17 little morsels that we can scoop up out of the metaphorical ocean, chomp on them, bite, bite, chomp, chomp, swallow, get quick, instant nourishment. That's what we do. So down below in the description, please subscribe, share, thumbs up. You know the thing. So here we are. Now, let's see, let's get started. First things first, coffee, boom, coffee, pen, paper, open it to today's date. Copy, pen, paper. And there goes Charlene. Charlene is on the road. Goodbye, Charlene. And all right, so we've got that done. Let's now quickly go to our Okay, so we're going to go to, okay, it's kind of kooky, but all right. Today's advice from an 80-year-old. Advice from an 80-year-old. It's simple. You want to get from point A to point B on your journey. You want to move further across the predictably unpredictable sea. It's simple. When playing games with children, let them win. But not always. Okay? I'm going to show them that life is, you don't get to win all the time. You have to learn to be a good loser, because life is not a game. It's a series of games. Okay. Next, right in our books, I'm so happy and grateful now that blank. Now that what? I'm so happy and grateful now that well, we've got some interesting meetings today, interesting meetings tomorrow. I'm so happy and grateful that I have the opportunity to make something happen, to move towards success. Money times meaning and purpose. Or remember, our formula for success is money. Success is money times meaning and purpose. If you have no meaning and purpose, that's money times zero. That means you're not successful. You're just somebody who has a lot of money that other people will be glad to urinate on their grave. But if you have a little bit of money and a lot of meaning and purpose, then you will go far. Okay? So money times meaning and purpose is success. It's not just about money. And meaning and purpose without money is, you're a good dude. You're a good person, but you really haven't been able to do much to help other people. So that means you're not really that successful. You're just a good person, which is good. It's better than being a bad person. All right. So today, day 2, week 4. In our journey, we built the boat with the sails, with the rudder, with the below decks, with the very solid spiritual hull. We have our crew, we have set sail. Yesterday we talked about crisis leadership, what to do in the storms. When the storms come, how do you keep going? What do you do? How do you focus? How do you decide? Today is the opposite. It's the most beautiful days in the world. How do we keep moving forward? How do we keep on task? How do we not think this will never end, become lazy and lackadaisical? So when the next storm comes, we're totally ill-prepared and we get wiped out. Or as Tony Robbins pointed out, the history of the world is good times make soft people. Soft people create bad times. Bad times create tough people. Tough people create good times. Okay, so today is pure leadership. Everything is going great. The example we have is Marcus Aurelius, a great person from the history of the world, very good for several reasons. 1, he was a Stoic. 2, he was the Emperor of Rome. Which means he could have anything he wanted. Most importantly, though, and he led a very positive, by all standards, just like, wow, great guy. But the most important thing, number 3, is he had his daily journals that he would write in, and his journals survived him. He left instructions, please just burn these when I'm dead. But his secretaries, his scribes, whoever, his aides found them and said, oh no, we can't throw this away. So they're known as the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. So thoughts to himself, and his journal, these journals were titled To Myself. So he had a whole bunch of journals. When he'd come home at night, at the end of the day, and he'd be writing about things in his journals. The journal was entitled To Myself. So it's known as the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, written in 180, 170, before 190 AD. And so you have the internal thoughts of the most powerful person in the world, who was a Stoic who did not intend these things to be published. And that's what's so unique about it. When somebody today writes an autobiography, say Hillary Clinton, she doesn't talk about the things that bother her. She talks about the things that make her look good for history. Well, Marcus Aurelius was the opposite. So some of the things we get from the Meditations are moral virtue is enough. Moral virtue is enough. Just do the right thing at the right time, in the right way, for the right reason. That's all you have to do. Everything will take care of itself. Now, Christianity existed at the time, but around 160 AD, it was still a small, little, inconsequential sect that only had like one line in all of Meditations. It was just something like, there's this little sect of people out there somewhere. Something, it was like they're not important. And that's true in the history of the world. But in the next 200 years, next 150 years, next 110 years, it took off to the point where it was a big problem for the empire. And finally, in early 300s, Constantine made it, first it became illegal, then he made it legal, then he adopted it, then he created the church and the Nicene Creed that all Catholics recite. every Sunday. That is post Marcus Aurelius. But anyway, great thing today, Marcus Aurelius. All right, let's go to Seth Godin, because another really good one today from Seth. Today was very good. I would also say watch the motivational video. This is probably one of the best ones. I'm going to be listening to it today several times. This is an exceptionally good motivational video down below. So listen to that, watch that. Seth Godin. If everyone visits a factory and takes a sample, it goes out of business. But if everyone in the community takes an idea, that goes up in value. The best marketing advice I have for someone writing a book is simple. Write a book that people want to share with others, and then make it easy for them to do so. That's such a simple concept, and yet it's overlooked in one media sector after another. If you want to build a vibrant nonprofit, create one that your donors do the fundraising. If you want a hit TV show, write one that viewers want to talk about with friends. If you want your software to be effective, embrace the network effect so that it works better for all users when your users bring in new users. The 5-pack is one way I've discovered to amplify this horizontal spread. My new book comes in a discounted set of 5, with 25 free limited edition booklets included. Each generous leader ends up with 4 extra books and 25 booklets to give away. Of course, not everyone will choose to share an idea, but some people thrive on being nodes in the network, improving the systems that are in close proximity. When you have an efficient leverage tool to spread an idea, they're more likely to do so. People don't share a concept because it helps the creator of the idea. They do it because it helps them. When they're surrounded by people listening to the same music, talking about the same issues, or doing work in a complementary way, things get better. Wow. Huge, 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 huge. Let me go to that. Ideas shared are exponential. Need to put that in here. Sorry, guys. It's so valuable that I just have to do a little bit of stuff here to not lose it. Buy the 5-pack. I'm going to buy the 5-pack. $50 value. Whoa. Holy moly. Holy guacamole. All right. So, okay, next on our hit parade. Aesop's Fable, The Swallow and the Crow. The swallow and the crow had an argument one day about their plumage. Said the swallow, "Just look at my bright and downy feathers. Your black, stiff quills are not worth having. Why don't you dress better? Show a little pride." "Your feathers may do you well in spring," replied the crow, "but I don't remember ever having seen you around in winter. And that's when I enjoy myself most." Aesop's moral of the story: friends in fine weather only are worth... Cut. Friends in fine weather only are not worth much. Okay. I say to you, remember the elegant equation. Bond, add value, and ask. Bond, add value, and ask. Bond, add value, ask. Elegant equation. Here, rather than argue about how one is better than the other, i.e. compete, it would be better to focus on what they have in common and how they can help each other become better. So we had an incident in our housing last night, resulted in the removal of one of our guys, who we call EJ, who had been using meth. This is not a loss for EJ. This is a loss for each of us. EJ is going back to the life he had before he met us. That's it. He's just going back to that. We have lost somebody that was an important part of our team, somebody that could have helped us. And we cannot take the approach of every man for himself. You cannot make it. In today's video, the motivational video, Jordan Peterson is going to say life is suffering. Work to overcome it. We have to help each other. We're not in apartments with 3 other guys because we're supposed to be on our own. We're in apartments with 3 other guys because we're each supposed to help each other. 4 people, like 4 oxen in the field, all facing opposite directions, can ward off any danger. If you break off, the oxen break off and go to different parts of the field, what happens is the dangers pick them off one by one. We are in this together, like the musketeers, all for one and one for all. The loss of EJ is our loss. It is not his loss. He's just going back to the hell he had before, starting now at the bottom of the pit, the bottom of the hole he dug for himself, which is now deeper than it was before. So I'm going to reach out to him. My expectation is at this stage he is angry, defensive, hateful, vengeful. I'll show you, people. You think you're going to hurt me? I'll show you hurt. I'll show you pain. I'll show you destruction. I'll show you what happens when you discard people. And we're going to find, Jeff is going to find that he is in jail. So when you are using illegal drugs, I'm not saying EJ was because I don't know for a fact that he was, but if you're using illegal drugs and you insist on being dropped off at the airport late at night or early in the morning, you should expect that you're going to get the attention of law enforcement. And when they find out you're acting erratically, they may detain you. And if you're under the influence of things and you start rambling on about being kidnapped and whatever, then probably going to be detained. And then it gets really bad. So we have to work together, guys. We have to work together. Moving right along, our prayer. So let us say a prayer. Lord, as I prepare for this examination, which could be life, okay, today's life, let your strength and your wisdom be present to me. May I revise my work thoroughly. May I understand what it is I have to know. May my memory be reliable and orderly. May I be calm and focused on the task ahead. May I know and feel the love and support of my family and friends. And may you, the author and creator of all things, enlighten me through Christ our Lord. Amen. Special prayer out there for EJ. All right, so wrapping this up, winding this up. Diana, you is on. Maybe Charlene. Yesterday was the only easy day. Right. Act such that yesterday was the only easy day, which means tomorrow you're going to have the same thought. So rather than trying to chase comfort, the ever elusive comfort, rather than chasing that, chase meaning, chase purpose, service to others. Okay, embrace the suck. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Rather than having an attitude of, as you proceed through the day, of how do I make it easier? How do I make it better? How do I do this? How do I become more comfortable? Focus on, how can I get used to being less comfortable? Because then when I get put into a tough situation, it's not that tough. It's like how professional teams prepare for the game. Football teams prepare for the upcoming game. They practice hard on the weekends. Fighters practice. push themselves to their limits, keep extending their limits, so that when it comes to the fight, when it comes to the contest, the challenge, when it comes to that, it's easier than what they're used to. Not it's harder. Okay, so we need to practice this every day. Practice every day, getting the routine of pushing ourselves just a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And thus, when the great days come, we can enjoy them even more because we're better prepared for them. All right. So thank you, Diana. Charlene is driving. So she would say the last one, when is the journey over? The journey is over when your heart stops beating. Okay, good, Diana. Thank you for tag teaming with Charlene, who's on the road. If you're still here, God is not through with you yet. You still have things to do. The journey is over when your heart stops beating, when you stop breathing. That's when the journey is over. Okay, time to go, people, and cut and cut.